So in this video I'm going to talk about HDMI cables, and specifically I want to talk about active HDMI cables, and I want to thank Ruipro for sending me a couple of HDMI cables to test out. They don't use typical copper conductors. It actually uses like fiber optics to send the signal, meaning that I can send them a much higher amount of data with a thinner cable to much longer distances than a normal copper-based cable can provide. There's not much to say about HDMI cables other than the fact that are they rated to provide the bandwidth that you need to get the resolution that you want. In other words, if you need like 48 gigabits per second for 8K or 4K 120 to be compatible with HDMI 2.1, you're going to need there are these certifications that HDMI cable companies can actually get in order to certify that their cables are capable of providing you with those speeds reliably. And the thing about HDMI cables, some of them you either pass the signal or you can't. Shorter cables, when I'm talking about normal copper cables, and normal copper cables, the shorter they are, the more they typically are more reliable. Hence the most common probably HDMI length is about 6 feet, and those tend to be pretty reliable, and they can be relatively thin cables. They don't need super thick conductors in order to get that bandwidth reliably. I'm actually quite happy that they sent me this I think this is a 15-meter cable, about 45-50 feet or so. So this allows me to test my new Anthem processor that I have. This is actually useful because I actually want to test this Anthem processor without having to move it. In other words, I'm in my theater room, and in my theater room I have a 1080p projector, but I want to be able to test like 4K signals in VRR. In order to do that, I have to connect my Anthem processor directly to my 4K TV that I have in here. Unfortunately, I can't test 8K because I don't have an 8K TV. Most people don't. Probably 4K 120 TVs are probably more common. I don't have one of those either. But what I can do is I can do a real-world test with this 15-meter cable and show you whether or not it works going from my theater room all the way to my TV, which is about 45 feet away. So this is what I'm talking about with the certification. These cables come with the sticker here, and as you can see, it says Ultra Certified Cable, and there's actually a little QR code you can scan and verify that it's actually certified, and I'll probably show you that right now. I just opened up the box, and you're greeted with this card that says this cable only works in one direction, and it kind of gives you a diagram of what to do. Each of the ends is clearly labeled, so you shouldn't have any issues. Just make sure that you put the one that says display on the display one, and the other on the one that says source, the one that says source. And this is what the cable looks like. Let's get it out of here. It's got this kind of like plastic shielding, and then looks like some kind of, I don't know what to call it, some kind of metallic looking shielding covering the cable itself. You got the connector there, and this says, as you can see, that says source. So I'm gonna plug this into my Anthem processor, and on the other side says display. So this one goes into the TV, projector, whatever you got there. So they also include this HDMI USB power adapter thing. And if I look at the card, it says in the event that there is no image displayed, connect the 5-volt USB power adapter. So if you got no image, consider using that. But I'm going to try it without it first. One thing to note, the cable is neatly wrapped, very nicely packaged, I have to admit. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and plug this into the HDMI or eARC port and on my processor here. And I'm hoping that this is long enough. So as you can see right now, I got my Anthem turned on, and I got my Xbox Series S, which is my only gaming system in this room. I'm in my home theater room right now, and so I'm running the cable from the Anthem over there, and it's running all the way over here, and I have my 4K TV turned on over there, and as you can see, it's connected to the TV, and my other connection is out. So this is the only HDMI cable that's connected to my TV right now, and it is working as expected. So let's check this out. So I'm using my Xbox controller right now, which is transmitting all the way to my theater room. And let's check out the settings. First thing, I don't notice any lag whatsoever, even though I'm running about a 50-foot cable. As you can see, the resolution is 4K, UHD, 60 hertz refresh rate, and we can go to the details. Obviously, Samsungs are notorious for not supporting Dolby Vision, so it supports. It does not support 4K UHD, 4K 120. Most TVs don't. So this is pretty typical of what most HDR TVs can handle. Other than Dolby Vision, a lot of TVs handle Dolby Vision. Like I said, Samsung doesn't really support it. So let's go into video modes. As you can see, this cable allows me to turn on low latency mode. So appears to be, so I'm turning it on. You're seeing that live. It worked okay. And allow variable refresh rate. I'm going to add that as well. And I'm going to keep it. Why not? So yeah, I can use both of these settings along, I'm using HDR, 4K, all that stuff. So one more thing to note, I just want to state that, is that my TV detected that this was an Xbox. Everything's working as I expected. So just to demonstrate this, I installed Cuphead, which I actually own, and I'm going to run it from my theater room. And as you can see, game mode is turned on. By the way, this game is extremely difficult. I suck at it, so. Let's see. I'm not experiencing any latency that I can tell. All good. I suck at this game. Well, works good. I'm going to go ahead and recommend Ruipro HDMI cables. As you saw in the video, I ran the 15-meter version from my theater room all the way to my TV in my rec room, which is, and everything worked as expected. I didn't even have to use the additional 5-volt adapter. I didn't notice any lag. Even when I played a game, everything worked. Every single feature that worked. 4K 60, HDR10, VRR, low latency mode, all that stuff worked as I expected. So if you're looking for an active HDMI cable, fiber optic HDMI cable for a long run within walls, you gotta, maybe go through an attic or something, I highly recommend Ruipro cables. Like I said, it worked great for me, and it'll probably work well for you. So if you have any questions about the cable, feel free to leave them in the comments, and thank you Ruipro again for sending me these wonderful cables, which I actually used to test some of my equipment today, and I'll see you in the next one.